Welcome back to another episode of 10 Minutes with Travis, where we go through all the week's news in under 10 minutes. That was a week, it felt like a decade. I'm your host, Travis Grassi. Let's go. On Monday, Trump began his week in New York, where the United Nations was hosting its annual General Assembly meeting, while Rod Rosenstein, the guy that's the head of the Russia investigation at the Department of Justice because Jeff Sessions recused himself, that guy, yeah, he started his week off in DC thinking he was about to get fired. So when this news first broke, there were all these conflicting reports about whether he was resigning or he was getting fired or just stopping by the White House to have a donut with John Kelly, Trump's chief of staff, who stayed back in DC to refill the Diet Coke in the fridge and maybe help him obstruct justice while he was out of town. Trump, who became famous firing people on television, has almost completely avoided firing people in person as president. Huh, that's weird. It's almost like the whole thing was an act or something. Instead, he's chosen to do it in a tweet or a letter, or in the case of Sean Spicer, just hire Scaramucci and wait for everyone to jump ship. At the end of the day, or another day older, Rosenstein stayed in his job. Because I guess obstructing justice on the same week your Supreme Court nominee is about to go down in flames over sexual assault allegations isn't the best move. Speaking of sexual assaulters, on Tuesday, Bill Cosby was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison, while another serial assaulter, our president, was getting laughed at by the entire world.
In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
That wasn't the reaction you were expecting? It's like when you tell someone you're into them and they start laughing and so then you have to pretend like it was a joke. No, that's when I said I like you. No, it was a joke. I'm laughing with you. No, I totally get it. I'm hilarious. We're laughing at the same thing because I'm just joke. I get it. So Fox News, our state media, chose to handle this two ways. The first was to literally edit out the laughter in the video they posted on Twitter. Then our ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, went on Fox to say that they laughed out of respect.
The media's got this so wrong. I deal with these leaders every single day. I know exactly how they think. Do they love America? No. Do they respect America? Now they do. When he said that, they love how honest he is, and it's not diplomatic, and they find it funny.
Well, yeah, because I know when someone I respect tells me something that's totally true, I also burst into laughter. What? On Wednesday, flying high after all that respect laughter, and chairing the Security Council where he accused Russia of Oh, really? So I'm sorry, China. He accused China of attacking our elections without any evidence, which is kind of his thing at this point. So anyway, he was feeling super juiced up, wanted to give a long and rambling press conference so he could illustrate for the American people why our founders included the 25th Amendment in the Constitution. Take a look.
Has total respect for Donald Trump and for Donald Trump's very, very large brain. Why has President Trump given so much to North Korea? I said, if I wasn't elected, you would have had a war. President Obama thought you had to go to war. You know how close he was to pressing the trigger for war? We're not doing well. Let me call the Russians to help. We have pictures of President Trump. Whoa, where can I get them? Wow, that's a lot of hands. New York Times, come on, New York Times. The failing New York Times, stand up, go ahead. I like President Xi a lot. I think he's a friend of mine. He may not be a friend of mine anymore, but I think he probably respects, from what I hear.
You were talking about your administration's accomplishments at the United Nations, and a lot of the leaders laughed.
Well, that's fake news.
And what was that experience like?
It's fake news, and it was covered that way. Okay. They weren't laughing at me. They were laughing with me. We had fun.
We're halfway through the week, though. On Thursday, the Senate Judiciary Committee held their much-anticipated hearing with Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, who calmly told the committee over hours of clear and compelling testimony that she was 100% certain it was Brett Kavanaugh who attacked her when she was 15 years old. The Republicans, who didn't want to look like 11 men screaming at one woman again, chose to outsource their questions to Rachel Mitchell, an Arizona prosecutor with a tight bob, who tried to raise doubts about Dr. Ford's fear of flying and the fact that she couldn't remember all the details from one night 35 years ago, something that's supported by all the medical science on trauma victims, which Dr. Ford was able to politely explain using words like hippocampus and neural pathways. Because not only did this woman have to relive her trauma in front of the entire nation, she had time to teach the committee about how the brain works. After hearing about a drunk and belligerent teenage Brett Kavanaugh all morning, we got to see an angry and belligerent 53-year-old Brett Kavanaugh give his testimony in the afternoon, saying this was all a vast left-wing conspiracy out to tarnish his good name.
The day after the allegation appeared, I told this committee that I wanted a hearing as soon as possible to clear my name. It took the committee 10 days to get to this hearing. In those 10 long days, as was predictable and as I predicted, my family and my name have been totally and permanently destroyed by vicious and false additional accusations.
He yelled, he cried, he said the word beer 51 times, all the while explaining how he never drank to excess, never blacked out, never treated any woman less than admirably. This is despite his yearbook page, which he wrote, saying he was an alumni of a local girl, the treasurer of the Keg City Club, 100 Kegs or Bust, and the biggest contributor to the Beach Week Ralph Club. And is it a crime to be an idiot high schooler boozing and puking and playing the non-existent drinking game Devil's Triangle? No. But by insisting he was this Boy Scout who was holed up in the library studying when he wasn't volunteering at the local soup kitchen, it doesn't match his calendar that he weirdly saved for 35 years, filled with parties and social events. And if he's willing to lie about that, what else is he lying about? And when he looked like he was really going off the rails being questioned by Rachel Mitchell, Lindsey Graham could not take it anymore. And he jumped in, delivering a fiery and passionate monologue, sure to be nominated for this year's new Oscar category, Most Popular Meltdown.
If you wanted an FBI investigation, you could have come to us. What you want to do is destroy this guy's life, hold this seat open, and hope you win in 2020. You've said that, not me. You've got nothing to apologize for. I would never do to them what you've done to this guy. This is the most unethical sham since I've been in politics.
Oof. He hasn't been that pissed off since he found out his name was Lindsey. The rest of the Republicans on the panel were now free to bro down with Kavanaugh and yell about how the Democrats had totally ruined this process, conveniently forgetting that last year Trump nominated Neil Gorsuch, who was evaluated and confirmed by the Senate with 54 votes, including 3 Democrats, all without any sexual assault allegations. Maybe because he didn't sexually assault anyone? Oh, and the year before that, they held the seat open for an entire year, refusing to give Merrick Garland a vote, and said that if Hillary won, they'd continue to hold the seat open for 4 more years. But tell me more about how the Democrats are breaking the system. And on Friday, it all seemed to come to a head when 2 sexual assault survivors confronted Jeff Flake getting into a Senate elevator on live TV, while he frantically tried to hit the door close button and avoid eye contact.
That's what you're telling me right now. Look at me when I'm talking to you. You're telling me that my assault doesn't matter, that what happened to me doesn't matter, and that you're gonna let people who do these things into power.
I mean, that's a metaphor for the entire Republican Party, right? Closing the door on screaming women. Must have had an effect, though, because a little while later, Flake said his vote to pass Kavanaugh out of committee was conditional upon the FBI reopening his background investigation, which Trump agreed to later in the day. So that's where we are. The FBI is going to investigate these allegations, something that could have happened when the committee first learned of them, something Dr. Ford has been asking for since they became public, and the Democrats have been asking for pretty much ever since. And it's not even going to take that long, less than a week. So, hopefully, by this time next week, we'll be a little closer to the truth, and we'll all finally know how to play that game, Devil's Triangle. Alright, that's all the news for this week. Thank you so much for watching 10 Minutes with Travis, and if you like, obviously share, subscribe, all the internet things, but most importantly, please make sure you're registered to vote, and then please vote, and then take 27 of your friends to vote.